It's Josh here, and going to be running some more testing on those Worx aftermarket sponsons for the GPRSHO. We call it the Interceptor. So any of you GPR guys, 1200R, 800R, 1300R, these sponsons are for your machines. The machine that we are testing on today is the GPRSHO, so it has the 1.8 supercharged engine from Yamaha swapped into it instead of the two-stroke engine you would normally find in a GPR ski. You know, depending on what one you have, you could have the 800R, 1200R, or 1300R. But anyway, this info should be helpful for all you GPR guys. Testing today, we'll have the sponsons set into the race mode, so we'll be using these upper holes to drop the sponsons down for more aggressive turning. Started off, I'm going to be checking to see how these sponsons feel, just to get a feel for the machine, because I don't want to, you know, put myself into the water or get myself hurt. Also, we're going to be checking to see if these sponsons have affected the top speed at all. So we're going to check on that stuff. The original top speed before we put the sponsons on is 77.5 miles per hour. And we're definitely going to be testing to see where it is now with these sponsons on there. The big question is, do we lose any top speed with these? That would be the big question. So let's find out. Was 73. That right now, thanks. 75.3. This is not glass smooth. not have great conditions for doing this. Holy cow, I just gotta find some smooth water. Like, it looks smooth, but there's waves all over the place. And when you start hopping around at 75, on this particular ski, it's kind of unnerving. I bet on the FCR it wouldn't be so bad. Too bad. Alright, on that it ran 76, so we may have lost 1.5 miles per hour with these sponsons, but maybe not. It'd take more days of testing, because sometimes it can be like little inconsistencies that change that 1.5 mile an hour, like the water's not perfectly glass smooth, all that kind of stuff, amount of gas in the tank, blah 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 blah. But we're still hitting 76, which is a good fun mile per hour speed. The previous top speed on this machine, the fastest we've had it go, is 77.5 miles per hour, and we've actually been able to replicate that a few times, but generally speaking it is on glass smooth water. So this 76 mile per hour speed that we clocked here today doesn't seem too far out of the realm of possibility that we could still clock that 77.5 on smooth water, because obviously we don't have glass smooth water out here today. Now we're going to head over to our test track, or the JSB Proving Grounds, and we're definitely going to put these sponsons through their paces on this machine. Something important for me to talk about is the fastest lap time this machine has set so far, and basically the previous lap time when all the components were the same as now, except for the sponsons. Fastest time ever was a 34.91. The best lap time it made with the closest configuration to this, you know, minus the change in sponsons, so it's exactly the same except for we've changed the sponsons. Best lap time in that configuration was a 35.17. Let me show you guys a few things around the course here before we get started. there's the start finish line log. It is underwater, so we have to have the right, the water level has to be high enough so we don't clip that. Now when you hear us talking about the danger log, we're actually talking about this one right here. If you can see it underwater, it comes out all the way to here, but yeah, you just don't want to hit that. This is what we call the S-curve. So obviously you have to kind of weave through it. And when you're coming back the other direction, you really don't want to like go straight into that log. That's the one I was talking. That's the one that would be bad. This is basically a straightaway. It does kind of ziggy-zag around. And this right here is what we use as the turnaround pole. There you go, a little tour. Getting ready to run a lap, guys. I'm super nervous. This thing is crazy. Oh, shoot. My whole seat like shifted to the side from the G-forces. Everything's bolted down. Holy crap. Clear today, you can see the start finish line. It's that log going across underwater. The danger log, you can actually see it today and it looks a lot more dangerous. Maybe you'll see it when we go by, maybe not, because we're going to be going by really freaking fast. Getting lined up to start. That kind of pole there also sort of marks the start finish line. Lining this thing up, getting way forward. Here you go. Holy cow, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Whoa! Just try to run smooth around the pole. Oh man, I'm way too scared to run that at full throttle. Past the danger log. Oh man, that, yikes, that was really something. Let's talk about that first run. The time that we want to beat is 35.17, although it would be great to beat the fastest time it has ever put down at 34.91, but we really want to get close to that 35.17 because that's more of an apples to apples comparison minus the sponsons. So that first run there, ended up running it in, hold on, I gotta check my paper. That was a 36.29, so not that great of a lap, but I'm gonna go ahead and run it again because I'm needing to get a little bit more comfortable with these sponsons. Try turning left around the turnaround pole. We're allowed to turn whatever direction we see fit. Okay, on the second run there, obviously, again, we're trying to get close to that 35.17. Love to beat the 34.91, but realistically, we just want to beat the 35.8. 1.7 because that's more of a closer comparison from how it was before to just changing over to these sponsons. And that run, we ended up running it in 35.19, so almost dead on what we did, you know, with this exact same setup, but the stock sponsons with, you know, the modification of the stock sponsons. That being said, the ski technically has more ability that I'm not taking advantage of, and it really comes to show in the S-curves. I'm not 100% comfortable just hammering down full throttle through the S-curves because of the way that these sponsons make the ski feel, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. The ski can run faster laps than I'm ready to do. It's at that point now. Like, I need a lot of practice before I'm willing and ready to just hold her wide through the S-curves. I got to establish some trust with the sponsons and the ski. Because if I mess up and it just goes straight into that log, then I'm screwed. That's an adrenaline rush, let me tell you though, holy cow. I didn't really show it too much on the video, but I have run these sponsons in both configurations, like in the race mode and more of the playful mode, or the free ride mode if you want to call it. So the race mode would be when they're all the way down, the free ride mode is that more up position for a little bit less grip. And in that sort of free ride mode, it feels extremely similar to the stock sponsons, just the modded sponsons where you know, hog out that center hole and rack them in the one direction. That's actually a really great mod you can do on your stock sponsons, and it doesn't cost you anything to do. I would definitely recommend that. But anyways, these Worx sponsons in the free ride mode feel very similar to that. When you drop them down into race mode, they definitely can turn harder than those stock sponsons, although they are similar to the stock ones in that when you're going really fast and you turn, it really doesn't dig in. It kind of has to wait for the front end to settle a little bit on the boat before it really digs in and starts to turn. So for me, on this particular ski, the GPRSHO, I'm going a lot faster than a stock unit would ever go. So I'm kind of waiting that extra second longer for the nose to kind of come down so it gets that bite and pulls in. And it really kind of makes for an uncomfortable ride because it's a little bit unpredictable, because I'm going and then I'm, you know, I can pretty much full turn. It doesn't really do too much, but once the boat slows down just a little bit and the nose comes down, it really grabs hard and hooks hard. So it technically turns way faster than the stock sponsons, or it turns harder, has way more bite, but the way it feels isn't the greatest, and that could be a lot due to my setup as well, because I've got that modded ride plate that I did myself. And obviously this ski goes way faster than a stock unit. You know, normal GP 1200R, you wouldn't imagine it to go much faster than 63-ish, maybe 65, depending on what mods you had. So at those speeds, I think these sponsons would just be hooked up all the time, so it'd feel a lot more comfortable on like a stock boat, or stock-ish. But me, you know, I'm up in the 70s, so I have to come a little bit down from the speed, nose comes down, then it bites and it turns. And that was one of the things that was making it really uncomfortable on the track for me, because I'm coming into the S-curves, and I've got the boat really close to top speed. We're probably running about 74 miles per hour right off the straightaway they're coming into the S-curves. So I can hold it wide open and turn it, but that turning also scrubs off speed, so eventually it's going to kind of drop the nose down and hook. And if I do something wrong there and we crash into one of the logs and the ski explodes into 1,000 pieces, then we're really not going to be too happy. And by we, I mean me, because this is, you know, obviously my favorite ski to ride, and I love riding this thing. And to destroy it needlessly on a log would be horrible. Obviously, if I hit a log, I would definitely be breaking my body, and that would also be horrible. I do not want to do any time in the hospital because of broken bones. So essentially, it comes down to rider comfort in those S-curves. So technically, it could go faster, but I'm just not willing to risk it at this point. I think with a little bit more time on these, though, as I get more comfortable with how, you know, they bite and like the speed where they bite in, I definitely could probably do a bit better in that area. And it definitely reminds me a lot of the RXPX, how, you know, the turning was really good but inconsistent. Not to say that it is as hard of a turning ski as that RXPX, because it's definitely not. The RXPX definitely would bite in a lot harder, but that being said, this GPR ski can do a nice arcing curve, whereas the keep getting mixed up because all the letters, the RXPX couldn't do like a slow sweeping arcing turn. And it's pretty funny that they addressed this on the, was it the 2021? Yeah, they addressed this on the 2021 RXPX, and now it can finally do an arcing curve, which is kind of funny because you know, an old GP 1200R could do that way back in the day. But that being said, you know, the RXPX can do that arcing curve now, and it can bite in really hard in turns. So I guess that's pretty cool. So kudos to Sea-Doo for finally taking care of that and making a ski that can do, you know, pretty much every kind of cornering you could want to do. I'd love to try one, obviously, but that is not what this video is about. I just want to kind of give a little bit more of my thoughts on these Worx sponsons. I'm kind of wondering if these sponsons are designed to work in conjunction with the rest of the Worx parts, like the ride plate and the intake grate, which very well could be that they were designed to work with the other parts in their catalog. I'm not going to go buy those parts just to see what it would do. If somebody at Worx wants to send me that stuff, I would obviously test them, and, you know, I'm going to give my honest opinion on the stuff, but, you know, I am going to definitely be a lot more happy that I got the parts for free, obviously. But that being said, would I buy these Worx sponsons again? I would probably try to find a used set of a different brand of sponsons before I went with these Worx ones. And that's just because of the mounting problems that I had. I wasn't too thrilled with how they did that. I feel like they could have used all the bolt holes, and they could have even put a couple more through, all the way through to those ones that I had to silicone up. You know, it could have just made everything more sturdy. So I didn't really love that part of it. Functionality wise, it did make the ski turn harder at the end of the day, although I felt like the comfortability of the turn, or the predictability of the turn, was lessened quite a bit. So, you know, I'm not 100% happy with the installation. The performance, I'm just kind of medium on it. You know, it does as advertised. You can turn harder with them. Going forward, though, I'm thinking I might do a little bit of modification on these Worx sponsons. I kind of have the thought of, you know, drilling out those backing plates so that I can use those siliconed up bolt holes just for the added strength. And then I could actually just get rid of those plastic, you know, the actual sponson, and build some aluminum ones of my own design and just kind of play around with it, testing, like, you know, I could do like a longer sponson or one that goes down farther, or, you know, with a different curvature of the shape, to see if that helps with the, you know, comfort of the cornering or the predictability of the cornering. But anyways, I might play around with that stuff going forward, but I'm really not too sure because I've got some other pretty darn cool projects that I'm working on, so that might be just something I play around with at a later date. And just in case you guys don't know, we do have a deal going with VintageJetski.com. This is one of their t-shirts. You can head on over there and use the promo code JetSkibrothers, all lowercase letters, all one word. That gets you 5% off your order at VintageJetski.com. And they actually run most of their parts. Like, I've looked around on there, and everything's already like 5% off. So with the Jetski Brothers code, you're really getting 10% off of retail. You know, it's 5% off what they normally would sell for. So anyways, you're kind of getting 10% off. They normally give everybody 5% off. But for the Jetski Brothers, all of you guys, they'll give you another 5% off. We got more great stuff coming up here on Jetski Brothers, and even though we are going into winter time around here, I guess it's technically fall, but we're getting close to winter, we definitely have some more cool stuff coming up, because we were filming all summer long, and we had all of our projects out there, and we were thrashing hard on our stuff to make some cool videos for you guys. So you're going to want to keep it locked in here to Jetski Brothers. Subscribe and hit that little bell so you actually get notified when stuff comes out, because as I understand it, Some people have been missing some of the videos because YouTube, in their infinite wisdom, doesn't show you all of our stuff unless you ring the little bell.